Welcome to A Work in Progress.
With Mark and Pete.
What was that thing you did that one time? That was fun.
Only the hardcore fans will know what that was.
That's right. It's a callback.
Yeah.
Go back and watch like episode 3 or 5.
I think it might have been 3 or 4. Maybe 5. We were talking about ramen noodle soup. And
was that week?
Yeah, and cereal is just breakfast soup.
Wow.
I've probably watched all of our episodes like 3 times.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, just because you mentioned that this is the first time I've like gone back and I've started listening to him again.
Yeah. Isn't it fun?
It's fun.
I enjoy it.
It's fun.
And I actually get stuff out of our episodes.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like,
I get like good info.
I'm like, oh, this isn't a bad podcast.
This is helpful. I feel better. I should implement this thing that I said I should implement.
And then I noticed myself, this doesn't make any sense, but I noticed myself listening to this thinking, this is a good podcast. I could never make anything as good as this.
Meanwhile, you're doing it.
Wait a minute. What's me?
Dude, I told you. It's like last episode we were talking about like, you're the one, man. Like, it's you.
Well, that's what
you got it.
My insecurities are so bad. I'm still working on them. But yeah, I'm like thinking like, oh man, yeah, that was really good. That was a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We have good banter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to end at some point.
Just everything has to be like a demise. It's
at some point we're going to run out of stuff to talk about. No, but we're not.
Okay, so you just said, because I think this is an interesting thing. Meanwhile, crickets. Oh, there's nothing else. We're not going to run out of things to talk about.
The weather.
You said, something I got to work on, right? Yeah. People say that. It's just a thing people say, right? But like, what does that actively look like? Like, oh, I got to work on my insecurities.
Yeah.
So like, how though? Like,
looks like me saying I got to work on it.
It doesn't do anything, dude.
Until next time it comes up.
Can I tell you why though? Is like, I don't think you should be insecure about anything because I genuinely think you're awesome. Yeah. You're an incredible pastor.
Thanks, man.
Like friend, father. I don't know how you are as a husband, but from what I see, pretty good. So, and then like you're just a phenomenal human being to everybody. I see you interact with other people.
Yeah.
So
appreciate that.
And unless you're a complete like narcissistic sociopath, and all this is a front,
you never know.
If all this is like a front for some like maniacal, I don't even know. Unless that's the case, you should have zero insecurities because you're awesome. And I just mean that like sincerely. So
I appreciate that.
I don't know how one goes about like working at that other than like, I don't know if you have to go to therapy or something.
Well, no, I mean,
how does one overcome insecurities? I guess just working on your own self-confidence and
totally, and just reminding.
Do you feel like are you confident in your pastoring preaching skills?
Yeah, my preaching skills, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because I got an award once. So
there you go. That's an affirmation right there.
Award. So
what kind of award?
It was like for my graduating class for seminary. I got the preaching award.
That's huge.
It's hanging on my wall in my office.
Wow.
Yeah, super proud of that thing.
Look at you.
So maybe because I got that affirmation early on.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think it's just reminding myself of what's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because I listen to lies a lot. And so I notice myself feeling more insecure into myself when I'm busiest.
You're more insecure when you're busy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just when I'm, when I'm doing a lot or maybe coming down from doing a lot because I haven't invested in myself at all.
Oh, okay.
So like this past week was super busy. I was doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I was bouncing around, meeting with people and doing all sorts of stuff, but I didn't really set aside much time for me and my mental health and my well-being and my physical health and so then I start listening to lies.
Yeah,
I think
it's those voices.
So it's just prioritizing time with me and for me.
Yeah, I think catching ourselves from like slipping into listening to lies or like slipping into old habits just because that's easy and it's like the normal way for our brain to take us.
Yeah.
Like just being aware of it, I think, is a huge help.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, they're lies, right?
Yeah.
So if you can catch yourself in the middle of that, of someone saying like, oh, you're saying this to yourself or me to myself, you didn't spend enough time doing this week, that means you suck. Or that means that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, okay, that's a thought. That's a lie. I was just busy and I got a lot done, right? Like being able to notice that, I think is at least for me, important and helpful to mitigate like the negativity.
And I think that's why it's helpful for me to like have times that I'm not busy. Because when I'm busy, I'm just like floating up here in this like upper tier, and I'm not like diving into what's true about me, who I am, those things. But there's a lot of people that find comfort in the busyness because then they don't have to think about that, or then because they don't have the time to think about the lies and stuff like that. So where do you think that balance is?
Between what and what?
Between keeping busy so that you're not dwelling on those false truths, but also spending time for you in order to deal with the lies.
Yeah. The tough part is you can't, that's not a generic answer for like people listening. It's like an individual kind of thing because everyone's schedule is different and some people just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Like some people just don't have the time and you're always got to cut into one thing or the other. I was actually thinking about today is like priorities because everything that we do, I would argue, comes down to your priority level. So priorities for most people are, I need to make sure the bills are paid. And I need to eat and I need to sleep and hopefully I can spend some quality time with people I care about. So that looks like I wake up, I go to work, I have lunch, I come home, I have dinner, I spend a little bit of time with my family, I go to bed and I do it all again. Because that's meeting those priorities to a T, right? Some people are more family invested and not financially invested. So they might not work as much and they spend more time with family and they don't have as much money. So they can't do certain things, but that's their priority. Other people, their priority is money. Number one, almost only career driven money. And sometimes that's because their other priority is family and they want to provide. But if that's your number one is financials, you might never see your family because you're working all the time. So ultimately your day comes down to what are my priorities? That's what you're going to spend your time doing. And what we kind of talk about at the gym sometimes is trying to align different priorities to make a change. So if your priority, you've said before, is to be a great father, right? And you want to make a change in health, well, you don't have to do anything. What would be helpful is to align, okay, healthy with good father. So these choices move up in priority to be up there as number one so that I can be a good father to my kids. And that's what I try and use as a helpful tool for people at the gym, because depending on what you really want to do with your life, you don't have time to do everything. So things have to go to the wayside. So one thing I could ask people if I'm meeting them, and they're like, oh, well, I don't really have time for the gym. Well, it's just 30 minutes a class on average, and you live in the area, so maybe 40 minutes tops. Oh, well, I don't think I have that much time. Can I see your phone? Sure. Oh, let's look at your screen time. Oh, turns out you're on your phone 4.5 hours a day. Is that all for work? No. Oh, okay. How much of that is for work? Maybe half an hour. Oh, so you have 4 hours that you're scrolling on your phone. Look what we just found. Time for you to go, time for you to make some food and time for you to come to the gym and all this stuff. And it's like, but if your priority is your addiction, which is scrolling through your phone, okay, you don't have time to do other things. I just ranted for a while, but I think it's important to understand your individual priorities and understand that that's why you do what you do. I got into owning a gym because I love people, I love fitness, and I want to help people in that way. Not because I'm money driven, because I wouldn't have opened a small gym in Grafton, Wisconsin if I was trying to just make a boatload of money. But so that's where I have conflict sometimes because family is such a priority and I want to be able to also provide for them. So that's where sometimes my inner self has like those fights because it's like, hey, you're not really doing a great job for your family financially right now because of the decisions you've made. So I think that's where some stress and anxiety and
Totally.
stuff can happen.
And I struggle with the, it's even hard for me to say, the making time for me and caring for myself, because I grew up with this mentality that was super selfish. That like,
where do you think that came from? You just said growing up with it, but where did it? Was it a parenting thing, or was it you saw other people and you wanted to be like that? Or
I think it was just like the culture we were in type thing.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it was super prevalent. Like, I mean, the phrase for pastors in the culture that we grew up in was abandon it all for the call. And it's like to turn away from everything in order to follow Jesus. But again, when we say follow Jesus, like, I think a big part of following Jesus is recognizing who you are in
Absolutely.
Jesus and wrestling with that and struggling with that. But for me, for some reason, the thought process I developed was any time that I focus on me is less time that I'm focusing on others. And I need to be focusing on others, not myself. So I'm going to set myself to the side in order to focus on others. So that's always been a struggle for me, because I feel like any time that I set aside for my personal well-being is selfish, because that's time that I should be focused on somebody else and caring for somebody else. And I get that that's not healthy. Like, I get that that's not healthy, but that's kind of like the
automatic
framework, that I fall back on.
Yeah.
And so I almost find comfort, but it's a temporary comfort, in not focusing on myself. And it's this temporary comfort until I'm depleted, or until I can't take care of anybody else anymore, because I haven't been taking care of myself. So I know that that's what I need to do, and I need to set aside time for my spiritual health, for my emotional health, for my mental health, for my physical health. But there's still this part of me that says that's selfish. That's selfish. And like you're saying, it's an alignment thing, because I'm a better pastor when I take care of myself. I'm a better husband when I take care of myself, a better dad, a better friend when I take care of myself.
Yeah.
It's just that weird framework that I'm fighting.
Do you think that a piece of it might be, and I'm just generally curious and asking, that if you have to sit down and work on yourself, that you're not going to be stoked about the things you have to work on, and that there's some avoidance there? Or do you think it is just the selfless mindset? Because if it's like, hey, okay, if I have to work on me, then I have to peel back all these layers and be like, all right, this all needs to get fixed. But if I focus on other people, then I don't have to focus on myself.
I think there might be part of that, but there's almost, so this like focusing on my mental health and everything, like this is all new to me. Like this is within the past few years that I've even like
thought about it even.
Maybe that has some value.
Sure.
Because like I would legitimately tell people that we're not supposed to, that we naturally love ourselves too much. And that we need to focus on other people and focus on ourselves less. And there's pieces of that are true when dealing with pride and arrogance and things like that. But there's also this huge spiritual component of how we're dealing with ourselves. Yeah, we deal with ourselves a lot, but we often deal with ourselves in an unhealthy way.
Right.
And there's healthy ways of dealing with ourselves so that we can care for others. So I think there's like this ignorance too that I don't know what I'm going to find. So it's like this naivety of peeling away the layers.
Yeah.
So I've gotten there, and I find, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I'm not an expert, is that I'll work on myself for a while and work on how I process things and how I think about myself, and it's exhausting.
Okay.
And so like I'll have to take a break for a little bit, and then I'll come back to it a little bit later.
Do you annotate anything or make notes on the progress you've made?
No.
Okay.
I should.
I think it would be helpful just because then you don't have to redo it.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like there's sometimes I'll figure out things in my day that like work really well for me. And then years go by and be like, oh, I was in a really good spot back then. Like, what was I doing differently? You know,
Yeah.
and then if you just have a notebook that you keep forever, be like, hey, things have been really rough right now.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on these things.
Yeah.
I should start focusing on this. And then, you know, that way you can look at it like a workout log. Make sure you're making progress on yourself by keeping like some super short hand notes for yourself.
Yeah. And
even if it's in your phone.
I don't know why. It wasn't my upbringing or anything. I don't think so. But I've developed even that, like that. Why should I be journaling anything other than like prayers and scriptures for other people and prayers for other people? Like my journal should be filled with my prayers for my friends and family, not myself.
I understand. I understand like, what you're saying.
Like, and again, let me clarify. Yeah. This isn't me saying that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
that's
just how you're wired.
Working through my framework.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that would be a good practice for you. Is to just journal for you one day, one time, and see how that goes. Because I have some old journals that I've been like super inconsistent with, but I'll go back and read something, and it'll be like, oh yeah. That was what I was going through, and I was in a bad spot because of that thing. Or I'm doing really good at this point because I'm doing all these things. So I got to make sure to get those back, you know?
Yeah.
And it's such an unload if you can write it down. It's kind of like going out into the woods and just like screaming when you need to yell, right?
Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Really?
Not into the woods, but I remember as like a teenager or a young kid, my mom would be like, just go outside and yell.
Really?
Yeah. If I was like like, it's all built up, you know? So it's good to get that stuff out and not just bury it.
It's happening again.
Thankfully, we lived in a fairly remote area. It's happening again.
Peter's out howling again.
Yeah. I'm just howling like a wolf. I feel way better now.
This is great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but those, and I just need to get back to some of those practices that I know. That's practice works.
Yeah.
If you do it.
That's the thing. Talk is cheap.
Yeah, you're right.
But this is a good thing to do too, is just talk.
Yeah.
Right. To actually have somebody who will actually listen.
Yeah.
That's why I think I'm in a better space now than before we started the podcast. Is because I have someone to talk to and kind of unload all these thoughts and like inner struggles and stuff, and not just keep it into myself. It's huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Look at us.
We're
just doing it.
Just look at us.
Yeah.
If you're on Spotify or YouTube, you can.
Yeah, you can watch us. Spotify, YouTube. We're on video.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a new baby on the way.
You do?
A baby boy. We just found out. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Very excited about that.
To join your other son.
Yep. So I'm going to have 2 boys. We have a name picked out already, but I'll save it.
Do it.
I'll save it. Let's see. Shreen is through the first trimester, which was kind of rough on her energy wise, but she's feeling much better. So that's great.
Good. That's the hardest part, I feel. Well, I have no idea, but but I feel like that first part of the pregnancy where like you're really struggling, and ladies who are watching who've been pregnant, you can confirm or deny, where you're like really struggling with like the sickness and loss of energy, but you can't really like. You maybe aren't telling people yet.
Yeah, because it's too early.
Yeah.
So you can't like.
So you're struggling, but you can't really tell people why you're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just tell them you're hungover every day of the week. Sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself. It's again. I'll be in the bathroom.
I'll be in the bathroom.
Sorry about
it. So, are you excited for 2 boys?
I am excited. Yeah. I think boys close together is fun because that's what I am. Like I have an older brother and 2 younger brothers. And my sisters are all older than me. So my parents had 3 girls and then 4 boys. So I'm the 5th of 7, sandwiched between a boy and then 2 younger boys underneath me. And we're just like, at this point, like best friends. Like my brothers are my best friends. And so I really wanted, if possible, right, Henry to have that kind of relationship with a brother.
Yeah.
So we got one on the way. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Although I do remember in my youth, we didn't get along super well. Elementary school was kids are just being kids,
Yeah.
At each other's throats. But there were good times and bad times. But once you became like high school age, we're like, all right, we can be friends.
Totally. What will the age difference be?
Henry's going to be like 3 or 4 months shy of being 3.
Okay.
So it'll be just under 3 years.
Just under 3 years.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
How you announced the gender was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I watched it live. I was sitting at I'm still like, I was thinking about it this morning when I was getting ready. I was like, I should have found a way to be there. I was like so upset.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I wasn't able to be there because I was at a rehearsal dinner. But I was watching it, and everybody knew I was watching it. And then as soon as it ended, I said, "It's a boy!" And everybody started cheering at the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It was awesome.
My for those of you just listening who didn't see it, my brothers did a WWE style wrestling match. One dressed in blue, one dressed in pink.
So good.
It is up on YouTube on my and Shireen's PS Everything page. So
go check it out.
PS_everything. Me and Shireen have our
subscribe
YouTube channel if you want to look at it. But it was really fun. I've actually watched it like 10 times because it's so fun.
I thought it was a girl.
You thought it was going to be a girl?
I thought yeah. Because of how the match was playing out. It was a great twist at the end.
Yeah. No, Noah got me because he held up a sign at one point that said it's a girl. And I was like, oh, what? Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
And then Mark came with the chair and knocked him out. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So did you know before that?
No.
That's how you found out
That's how
too.
I found out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that
Shireen
makes it
knew.
so much better.
My wife, Shireen, she knew ahead of time because she got the results from the test, obviously. And I asked her to not tell me because I wanted to have that surprise at the reveal with everybody else. So my brothers who were wrestling obviously knew. And then she knew.
Ben know too?
I think Ben knew because he was the ref.
He was the one who had to
Yeah,
call
so
it
I think they talked to him ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then my sister-in-law, Gwen, Noah's wife, she helped with like the planning and decorating and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome.
Boy number 2 on the way.
Fantastic.
Yep. Here we
Gender
go.
reveals are so much fun.
Yeah. I think most of the time they're not.
I was going to say that was the least convincing.
Yeah, most of the time they're not. I think they're usually pretty lame. But that's why I wanted to do something like
WWE wrestling match.
Yeah, I was like, how can we make it entertaining and not just oh look, there's pink dust in the air. If you've done that, that's fine, cool beans. But everyone who said that was fun was lying to you. Let's be real. No, but it was so funny. It was a good time. So
for our first, we did we didn't know, so we had him put in an envelope and we gave it to our friend and. She made like the cupcakes and the inside was a certain color. So we had some people over to our house and we took a bite. It's a girl.
Yeah.
It was so much fun having a video.
Yeah.
And then for Titus, we just wanted to do just like a gender reveal for us.
Sure.
So we got the results, put it in an envelope, took it to like a chocolate store and had them do a chocolate egg with either blue or pink M&Ms inside. And then we went home and we cracked it open.
Oh, fun.
And when we cracked it open, there was pink and blue M&Ms inside.
Oof.
And we were like, we stared at each other for a while and we're like, does that mean we're like having twins?
Yeah, I would have been so confused.
So we're really confused. So we called the chocolate store and they're like, wow, we didn't know what to do because there wasn't anything on the paper that said if it was a boy or girl.
Oh, really?
Why wouldn't they tell us? I don't know why they wouldn't tell us. Like
the chocolate store wouldn't have told you. Yeah,
like there's no results here. So.
Yeah, let's just. Well, we want the sale. We want to sell them the egg.
That's right.
Oh, actually, there's nothing on here. Oh, don't worry about it then. Oh, we just lost out on like $375.
So we called the hospital and they're like, oh, we forgot to put that on there. Well, we can't tell you over the phone. And we're like, no, we're sitting here with an open egg with M&Ms. You're telling us right now.
Why can't they tell you over the phone?
I don't know. Some policy. Fortunately, the doctor who did it got on the phone and was very apologetic and shared with us that it was a boy. And we started crying. Like,
very fun. Yeah.
And then for our third, we just found out right away. We didn't have her.
Mm-hmm.
Adopting her.
Yes, Annabelle was adopted.
Annabelle, yeah.
For those of you out in the dark.
She's going to be adopted on
that's right.
September 5th, I think.
Officially.
September
5th?
I think so, yeah.
That's Shreen's birthday.
That's right. I've talked about that with
We
Serene.
can share a birthday adoption day.
So if you're not doing anything on September 5th, I think around 8 o'clock or something,
Cool.
come to the courthouse.
In the morning? Okay.
You're kind of usually busy in the mornings.
Yeah, sometimes. Let's see.
We're allowed up to 20 people, they said.
Very fun.
So
What's the legal situation currently?
she's a foster child.
Okay. Until September 5th.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much an automatic rollover, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So she has to be in foster care for 6 months before we can adopt. And so the birth mom or any birth family have the opportunity to come forward and kind of make their case to get her. But they haven't had that at all yet, and they don't assume they will.
Sweet.
So
very
looks
fun.
like it's smooth sailing.
Outstanding.
Have I told you what her last name is right now?
No.
Her last name right now is Annabelle Spiffendo.
Spiffendo.
Spiffendo stands for Safe Place for Newborn.
Wow.
She was a safe haven baby. And then Doe, like Jane Doe, because they don't know her
that makes
last name.
sense.
So her name is Spiffendo. And whenever we go anywhere, they're like, oh, where's that from?
You know what I just thought about is legally you can change your name at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can.
Yeah.
First and last name.
Spread more people don't do it.
I was just thinking that. It's like, maybe it's just annoying to have to go to the DMV.
It's just like a form.
Do you have to go to the DMV for that, or is it online? I bet you have to go to the DMV.
Yeah. DMV?
I bet it's...
Or would it be like the...
I don't know. Because the DMVs are licensed.
Yeah.
So, and I think you go to the DMV for your name change when you get married. I thought that's where you go.
The DMV?
Where do you go?
DMV?
I don't know.
Like the
courthouse?
circuit.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Clerk?
The county courthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that
where
would
you go
make
to
sense.
get like a marriage certificate.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you'd have to go to the DMV to get your new license.
Yeah, it's true.
Under the new name.
Have to get like a new social security card. And everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's probably not
that difficult.
I mean, people do it when they get married all the time.
Yeah, you're right. Last names. Yeah.
And you could do the first name at the same time.
Choose your name.
You technically, as soon as you're 18, you pick to keep your name.
Yeah. I'm just really surprised more people don't do that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Spiffendo. That sounds kind of fun. Anybody could be Spiffendo.
But there's like always people that like aren't happy with their name. But they just live with it.
Yeah. I don't know.
You could change your name to anything. What would it be?
When I was a kid, I don't know why I really liked Timothy. I thought it was just like a strong Timothy, strong name. But now I'm real settled in, so I'm happy with it. Although I will say, it took me a little bit, but I was Peter most of my life.
Yeah.
And now Pete's just quick and easy, and more people would say Pete.
I guess it is one less syllable.
It is. There's no
Really saving a lot of time there.
There was one of my friends' dads, like when I was playing basketball in elementary school, would call me Pete. Like that every time. It took him like 8 seconds to say my name every time. And I would get a chuckle, but it's like, all right, dude, do I got to wait here? I got things to do. No, I don't. I was like 10.
That's right.
But yeah, I got like 2 people who call me Petey. Petey. But yeah. What about you? What would you change your name to?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I've always been Mark.
Just change it to Mark with a C just to throw people off.
Throw people off. I was more insecure about my middle name.
What's your middle name?
Alan.
Have you seen Jurassic Park?
I mean, I have, but...
There's a part where he's dreaming and someone's like, Alan. And the way you said it just made me think of Jurassic Park. Yeah, because his name's Alan, so it woke him up. But like a velociraptor in his dream says,
the velociraptor
Alan.
said Alan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But then he was dreaming.
It's been too long since I've seen those movies.
Anyways.
Do you know my name means, I say this way too much. I tell too many people this, but Mark means warrior. And Alan means good-looking one.
Good-looking warrior. That's phenomenal.
My name means actor from the movie 300.
Yeah, basically. Dude. Yeah.
That's what my name means.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting?
They nailed it.
I like the majority of boy names in general. Boy names are like strong, leader, courage, warrior, like solid, like those kinds of names.
Yeah.
And most female names, if you look them up, like
beauty,
gentleness,
compassion,
fertility, compassion, like all these like real, and it makes sense. But it's like, it's such a sharp contrast of like all these big bolstering boy names. They're like all good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no boy name that means like you're a pansy or something like that. You're a big wuss.
That's what my name means.
My name means cave
Weak
under the
one.
smallest amount of pressure. Although I will say petered is a synonym for quitting. Like people say, don't peter out.
Don't peter out.
Yeah. So my name does mean quit. So there's that.
Your name means.
My name means quit.
I'm a quitter. When we were thinking about what to name the kids, April and I were looking up like the name meanings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And April said, I wonder what my name means. And so she looked it up, and April means 4th month.
That's what I kind of. Yeah. Sounds about right. Nailed it.
Oh.
Just give it your own meaning.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
Beautiful one.
It's interesting how words just mean whatever we decided they mean. Because people will argue over like slang and stuff.
Yeah.
But slang only has meaning based on what the group of people give it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if someone cursed at you, like the most vile curse they could come up with in a different language, you're not going to be like, oh, how could you, how dare you? You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Because you're not part of the group that's given that meaning. So that being uttered doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting.
That is true.
And then like slang that comes up, you're like, oh, these kids are so silly. But then it becomes part of the vernacular, like for the whole next generation.
Bet.
Like we still say cool.
Yeah.
Cool at one point was like, oh, chill, dude.
Yeah. There's probably like so much slang. There was slang at one point that's like a part of normal.
That we don't even acknowledge or think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slang. I wonder if slang was at one point slang.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm sure Shakespeare would have had a different word for it.
Never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you doing schedule wise?
Schedule wise. Yesterday was nuts because I had Henry all day. Shireen worked. I led all the classes at the gym.
Whoa.
And it was one of my most productive days I've had in a long time.
How?
I had a to-do list.
That helps.
And I was trying to keep Henry like distracted with stuff. He's kind of sometimes getting able to like entertain himself, which is great. And I was just moving, grooving. He took a nap instead of me napping. I was getting after it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I also just had so much to do that I didn't really have a chance to not do it. Like I was behind on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's one, like I said, one of my priorities is family. Is like family will have something going on, like at my parents' house on a Sunday at like 2. This actually happened this past weekend. And I was ready to get all these things done. And then I got a phone call. Hey, people are at mom and dad's. Like, all right, here we come. So everything gets pushed back so that we can go hang out with family, which is a great time. But then I just get further and further behind on my, to-do list, basically. But yeah, Shireen and I are planning on redoing our kitchen. Awesome. So we got a bunch of plans for that, which is fun. I was cleaning up. We got a new couch coming on Wednesday.
Great.
Very exciting. It's funny how you get so excited about furniture as an adult.
Very exciting.
Yeah, because we currently have a love seat that's just like 2 of these, and we can't even fully lay down on it. And then we have that and a rocking chair, but we're gonna get like a 3 seats wide and then an L 3 seats that way. So nice. Shree and I could both lay on it at the same time.
That's fantastic.
It's very exciting.
Like you're getting like a sectional, like
yeah. I think it's like a 2 or a 3 piece, but it's like the L shaped couch.
That's awesome. Those are fantastic.
Yeah. But I think about how sometimes I'm more productive on my busy days because I got to be like, okay, I have 10 minutes here.
Got to get this.
Okay, I got this time here. I really got to, versus on days where I have like 2-hour window. Yeah. It's just like, oh man, I could just relax for a little bit. And then 2 hours is gone. You're like, whoops. So
I get distracted with like doing stuff that doesn't need to be done so much too. One of my most productive days recently was when April needed me to bring our baby to work with me. And it was so productive because like I had to hold her the whole time and sit in front of my computer and I couldn't like walk around and get distracted with other stuff I was doing. Yeah. So, like I was just in front of my computer and I accomplished so much on my to-do list. It was crazy.
It's great.
Like anytime you need me to bring her, you just let me know.
Yeah, let me know. I'll get a lot of stuff done.
Let me know.
Yeah, that's good.
It was wild.
Yeah, but you had a pretty crazy week last week. I barely even saw you, dude.
Yeah, it was, and like I said, it was hard because it was busy, and then I had to miss out on stuff that I would have loved to have done. I was talking to somebody about it on Sunday, and they asked like if it was a good busy. Like, I don't know if like any busy for me is a good busy. I don't do well. I personally like it's busy and like it's weird because like I have this sense of happiness because I feel needed when I'm busy, but it doesn't really like do much for me in the long term. It doesn't help me. And I know there's just seasons of life that there's nothing you can do about it. They're just busy, but being busy for a week makes me not want to be busy again.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting, the balance between work and rest. So God set it up to be basically work 6 days, rest 1. And I think maybe 5 and 2 is good.
Yeah, seriously.
But honestly though, like I've had it now as an adult where like I'll be on vacation for a few days. Like that was good. I got stuff to do. Part of it's probably like just like stress of feeling like you're falling behind.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, you sit on your butt and watch, the birds or go for a walk or you go swimming or you go on a boat or you go fishing. That's fantastic and sorely needed.
Except watching the birds part.
Well, yeah, birds are scary for you. That's right. You're in terror. Oh God,
don't do it.
They're getting closer. They're getting closer. Mark, they're on the other side of the lake. But I mean, you do that for like 2, 3, 4 days. Eventually it's like, no, I don't want to play bag toss again.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
It's more so the family element of it. Like, especially if our vacations most of the time are with family. So it can feel better to go longer because you're just hanging out with your family.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important for us to have that productive time to work.
Yeah.
So the balance is important.
Balance is important. And I think people find themselves at some point in their spectrum. Either they're working too much and not resting.
Yeah.
Or else they're resting too much and not working.
Yeah.
And there is a balance.
You got the deadbeats and you got the workaholics.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's very few people that have that are perfect where they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it changes week to week too. So I mean,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read something that I know we are dads. You and I are both dads.
Correct.
I read that this week. I read something this week that the dads are like in this ultimate struggle of balance where we are balancing so we want to be good men. And so good men like all that you said, financially provide.
Right.
And so we have this guilt that we need to be working.
Oh yeah.
We need to be caring for the family. So we have this guilt that we're supposed to be with the family, with them. And we also know that we're supposed to be taking care of ourselves. So we have this guilt when we're not taking care of ourselves.
You're guilty no matter what.
Yeah. And it's just like constantly, and we've talked about it before, that you're just like, when you're doing one thing, you're guilty that you're not doing the other things.
Yeah.
When you're doing those things, you're guilty you feel guilty that you're not doing the other things.
Yep.
And it's a perpetual battle that I don't know, might be ignorant to say, but that I think dads experience in a unique way.
No, I think you're right. And it goes back to being present no matter where you are. Yeah. If you're on vacation, be on vacation. It's nothing worse than a dad who brings his briefcase to the beach and doesn't hang out with his family while they're, flying a kite or whatever. It's like, no, be there. And then when you're at work, be there and get your work done. Yeah. Don't be thinking, oh, if only I was at home or if only I was on vacation. No, because when you're at home, you should be home.
Yeah.
Not thinking about, oh, if only I would have got more done at work today. So I'm guilty of this. I'm just saying, like, that's...
What do you do when you're at work getting work stuff done and then home calls and said, hey, can you come home?
I usually, if I can, I go home. Yeah. But then you got to be present once you get there.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, once...
Be thinking about everything I didn't get done at work because I'm now at home.
Yeah, but I mean...
Which you shouldn't be doing.
It's right. But it doesn't help to think about what if or I shoulds. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
All it does is make us stressed.
Yeah.
And make us beat ourselves up, which puts us in a worse place. which makes me think of one of my favorite thought exercises is, what is the best thought process or mindset I can have towards this right now? Like, what is the healthiest place for me to be? How should I approach this? Even if it's not easy, what's the best way to look at this right now? Yeah. And then try and do that.
Yeah.
Not easy, but
yeah,
takes practice.
Wish it was easy. Wish it was easy.
Yeah.
I struggle. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but I struggle. It's like I'll realize, oh man, I'm not focused in these different areas. So I come up with like a schedule. Like, all right, so I'm going to get this stuff done. I'm going to work on this from this to this. I'm going to go home, get it all done in that amount of time, go home, be with my kids, not worry about it because all that stuff's done. Be with my kids, be with my family, put the kids to bed, have quality time with my wife, all that stuff. But then one thing comes in and like shatters that whole schedule. And then my whole day is off.
Yeah.
I leave work early and go home, and then I'm thinking about work and not thinking about my kids. And then the kids go to bed and I'm exhausted from all of that, or I'm beating myself up that I wasn't with my kids and not spending time with my wife. And then my wife goes to bed, and then I'm working. I didn't get stuff done earlier. Just
sounds like
cyclical.
Life. Sounds like life.
Yeah, life is cyclical.
There you go. I don't know, man. I think it's everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about being flexible and working on being flexible. It's not easy to do. It just takes practice and patience and all that stuff. Maybe we should meditate.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to learn to meditate more.
I need to have more window moments is what where I'm just looking out the window and just seeing what's going on and just seeing nature continue to live without me and recognize that I can be here in this moment and everyth's still okay. Yeah. I don't have to always be worrying about the next moment.
No,
I need to have more.
Because then you miss the current one. The more we've talked, the more I've realized that. Because have you ever heard of Alan Watts? He was like a teacher of like Buddhist principles and Taoist principles, and he was essentially a professor of like different like things like that. And he would say that he would talk about the present all the time. And a lot of us have heard this, but there is nothing but the present. Like the past only exists in your head and the future doesn't exist yet. All we have is right now.
Yeah.
But the more we've talked and the more we bring this up, the more like I understand what Alan Watts was talking about.
Yeah.
Because we could even you've heard of false memories, right? So if something gets repeated enough, you think it's real. Like, like we landed on the moon, for example. People just say things enough times and then you think it's real. But anything that another thing, sorry, I'm going on like multiple tangents, but
I'm following you.
I've heard, and this makes sense to me, is every time you think of like something that happened in the past, the first time you recall it, you're recalling it. The second time you recall it, you're recalling the first time you thought about that memory. So each time you're like, oh, remember that time when? Yeah. You're recalling the last time you thought about it because that's the most recent memory that you have of that event. Does that make sense? Yeah. So especially as things get further and further away, they get foggier and foggier, grayer and grayer until you dig in a permanent memory of what you think it actually was. Totally. So it could be completely wrong.
Just experienced this on Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, there's a new couple at the church that I swear I had a conversation with them about where they lived. And I've told other people about that conversation that I had with them about where they lived. But that conversation never happened, apparently. I met with them and they're like, no, we don't live there. We never said that we lived there.
Really?
Yeah. But wow. I remember having that conversation.
That's very interesting.
And I've told so many people about the conversation. But
Now it's real to everybody but them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for
Wait, maybe we did live there. They're just like, they're questioning their own reality at this point.
Right. That's right.
Everyone says we're from this place we never lived. But
right.
yeah, I mean, if not your whole past, but if a good portion of your past could potentially not be real based on how you remember things incorrectly, and the future hasn't happened yet, literally all we have is right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything from lingering on the past faults or mistakes or whatever, trip ups or whatever, or living in like some dream reality of the past and how good times used to be, if that's the case. And you're not going to get anything from worrying about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we've said it, and I'm going to say it again. Being present is a superpower. Just be where you are and be there 100%. It's like building a wall, one brick at a time. Eventually you'll have a beautiful wall. But if you're just like, oh, this wall, oh, it has to be this tall and this high, and it has to be perfect, and we need to get done, and all these things, and you're not even focused on the one brick.
Yeah.
That's all you have to hold at that moment. Place it as perfectly as you can. Then eventually it's going to be a beautiful, perfect wall.
Yeah.
But we hurry and we rush through, so we never even we rarely work on being present.
Yeah. We're always looking back at the wall we've built or the wall we're going to make.
Look at that stupid wall I built. It's not even, I don't even close. My brother would have done a better job at that wall. He would have been opening for Casting Crowns.
He would have done a better job.
Stop, dude.
So I love my brother. I love him so much. One of the, oh man, Justin, I love you. I hope you're not listening to this.
I feel a big butt coming on. I love him to death. However,
I love him so much. There was, so we're a musical family. And so my first instrument is drums.
Cool.
And so I enjoy playing drums. And there was one time that Justin was off at college and he came back and he wanted to play drums for a service. And he didn't do as well as I play drums. And he did great. Don't get me wrong. He did great. But it wasn't quite the level that I play drums. And that was a little bit of a justifying experience for him.
Justin fine. You knew it was coming. You were justified, and you're
like, wait a minute, he's not better at everything.
Yeah, I got
everything
one thing
else, but not this one.
Yeah, victory for Mark with a C. Yeah,
Mark with a C.
What if you changed your middle name to with a C, even though Mark was with a K? Your first name's Mark with a K, and your middle name is with a C. My name's Mark with a C, Burkholder. Wait, but it's spelled with a K. I know. My middle name's with a C. Wait, your middle name's Mark with a C? No. My first name's Mark.
With a
middle
K.
name's with a C.
With a C. It's like a C and a K?
And everybody.
What are you not catching here?
And everybody's tuned out at this point. This is my favorite part of the podcast, when we completely spiral out of control.
We've lost everybody. It's literally just us talking.
That's great. This is what we wanted anyways.
So Annabelle is adopted. We talked about that, safe haven, so we don't know who her parents are. So I've started calling her birth father Edward Mann.
Edward Mann.
And so he's Mr. E. Mann. Mystery Man. So
that's fantastic. Mr. E. Man.
Mr. E. Man.
That's great.
That's his name, Mr. Man. Mark with a C, but it's with a K.
I love that bit so much. That was so fun. Good. See, these are the things that happen when we just ad lib and chat. That's what makes it so fun. Anyways, I think that should do it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Is there anything else you want to chat about?
Oh, a lot. But we got tons of episodes to talk about them.
We'll stop at episode 1000.
1000?
Yeah.
Next episode is episode 21.
It's the episode.
The episode
we have to get
that
there.
I have been waiting for.
It's big.
It's big.
It's big. It's the 1%.
Big deal.
We are part of millions of podcasts.
Thought I would be part of the
that
1%.
all quit. But once you hit 21, you're part of that top 1% that made it.
Us.
According to one random podcaster clip that I watched one time. That may or may not be true.
Hey, 90% of the stuff I talk about is that. So
Yeah, it's true.
Good.
It's all speculation. That could be our other tagline. A work in progress.
speculation.
It's all speculation.
It's all speculation.
We should change our name. I wonder if there's a podcast called It's All Speculation. Did we land on the moon?
Fantastic.
It's all speculation. Dinosaurs? Speculative. Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, if you're still watching, make sure you tune in for the next episode. Well, this one, we already watched this one, but watch the next one because it's our 21st episode.
It's a huge deal, hitting 21.
Oh, man, it's huge. I'm so excited.
Oh, also go watch Gems of History podcast.
Yeah.
Their last one I was on. Unfortunately, you had your busy week. You weren't able to make it, but we talked about
one of those things.
We talked about Nikola Tesla, and it was a lot of fun. They have a structured podcast where they actually talk about a topic and stick with it. But I was there to pull in some banter and pull them away and make some jokes and distract them. So they're normally, our 15 podcast was an hour and a half. So thanks to yours truly, I interjected.
That was only with one of us there.
That was one dude. If both of us were there, it would have been 2 hours. They would have had to hush us up just to finish. Anyways,
let's talk about Nikola Tesla.
Yeah,
well,
that's pretty cool.
Dinosaurs.
Did Tesla invent dinosaurs?
Well, thanks for watching. We love you guys. What was the thing you said at the end of last episode?
Be loved or be blessed. Go forth and be loved.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Love you guys.
It's all speculative. Bye.